Welcome to the Florida Family LawCast presented by the Family Law section of the Florida Bar. This episode features Sarah Kaye on adverse childhood experiences. My name is Amber Kornreich, coming to you from Miami, Florida. It's my honor to introduce today's featured guest, Sarah Kaye, a board-certified specialist in marital and family law at Kaye Family Law, where she practices in Tampa. Sarah served as chair of the Florida Bar Family Law section during its historic 50th anniversary year and is also a past president of the Hillsborough Association for Women Lawyers. She is also a fellow in the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, a frequent lecturer, and is a respected leader in the profession. In recognition of her extraordinary service, she received the 2024 Justice for Children and Families Award presented at the Florida Supreme Court, along with numerous other honors and accolades that she has received over the years. Beyond these achievements, Sarah is deeply passionate about educating the legal community on adverse childhood experiences, helping us all better support children and families in crisis. Thank you for being here, Sarah, and for all your leadership.
Thank you, Amber. I'm really excited to be here.
So, Sarah, there's been a lot of buzz about trauma in family law over the past few years. What is trauma?
There's a video that I've seen that describes it perfectly. The phrase that's used is a metabolically expensive event. And it typically is an event where the person feels that their safety is at risk. Just an easy example would be an extreme car accident where there's personal injury, and it's something that the person's brain perceives as such a big enough threat that it's trying to always prevent it from reoccurring.
So, how can trauma show up in family law cases?
It can show up any number of ways. It could be that one of the parents has experienced some trauma that they are now using to, it's almost like wearing a different set of lenses and they're viewing the world through that trauma. It could also be that when parents separating is a traumatic event, even for the minor children, even if the parents are getting along with each other, that huge shift in the child's life is a major event that is going to continue to color their perception of the world for years to come. It can be showing up in unusual behavior in the client, someone that's laughing inappropriately, that's crying inappropriately, that has a strong emotional reaction to some what's many people perceive to be a seemingly innocuous event. And it's very often just it's everywhere in almost every single one of their cases. Not all the cases, but in quite a few of them, it's going to show up in one way or another.
So, how can trauma informed family law professionals improve outcomes for Florida's families?
The very first step that all professionals can do is becoming trauma informed, learning about trauma. What are the signs of trauma? How does it show up? How do you know it when you see it? Not that we're looking to actually diagnose any of our clients or the children, but if we're seeing unusual behaviors, not stopping at the behavior and assigning it some sort of negative label, like that person's a jerk, that person's constantly emotional, but instead just looking at it very dispassionately at the facts of the behavior. What type of behavior am I seeing? And not stopping at that, going another step and asking the question why. Being trauma informed is, instead of asking the question, what's wrong with you, you're asking the question of what's happened to you.
That's so powerful. So, what recent efforts have there been to promote the creation of trauma informed family courts throughout the state of Florida?
Well, this actually all starts with the model family court that was created in the 1990s by the Florida Supreme Court, and it's evolved over the years. It culminated in a 2001 Florida Supreme Court opinion that adopted the 12 guiding principles of family law. And the fifth guiding principle of family law is talked about the court should be doing what's called therapeutic justice. In other words, identifying the needs of the family, not just the legal needs, but the other needs of that family, and trying to connect families with community resources to improve family functionings, to minimize the families from having to come back and into the court system. Judge Jack Hellinger out of the Sixth Judicial Circuit was aware of these Florida Supreme Court opinions, and just had a vision for the family law section partnering together with the Office of State Courts Administration to make a huge push to promote awareness of trauma, the impact of trauma on family law cases. And that came to fruition in the year that I was chair of the family law section. And the section, together with OSCA, launched statewide workshops to train judges, attorneys, and also bring in the mental health professionals and other community resources to talk about how we could improve our court systems to make them more trauma responsive. 11 workshops were held throughout the state that year. And then those efforts have continued in the years. It's been about 2 years since those workshops, and the efforts have continued through continued Zoom meetings, and then on a statewide level, and then also locally. In fact, just about, I'd say about 2 weeks ago, I attended an event that was put on by the 12th Judicial Circuit to promote locally trauma-informed courts.
So, what's your call to action for attorneys and judges who are ready to do better for trauma impacted families?
First and foremost, stop asking what's wrong and ask what happened. Second, commit to learning, commit to making small changes, even if it's just learning to listen a little better, listen proactively, asking follow-up questions. Also, third, advocate for court processes that honor dignity, honor healing, and honor long-term family stability. Because with family law cases, it's not about winning. It's about leaving the family better than the way that we found them. We as professionals have great responsibility for the families that we serve, and we should be looking at this as helping this family heal and move forward constructively to build a better future. Even if that future looks different than living in one house, what does it look like living in two houses? And really supporting them and encouraging the people that are in that process that come through our offices to treat each other with kindness, because the families that we serve deserve nothing less.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for your efforts, your leadership, sharing this incredible information. Because this is such an amazing opportunity to have you here, is there anything else you'd like to share before we conclude?
I'm really proud of the work that the Family Law Section has done over the last few years of promoting trauma-informed courts throughout Florida. And not just the section, but also all of the professionals. I've seen an amazing response by the judiciary. And I also know from my many conversations with all of the local resources and local mental health professionals that they want to help. They want to get involved. So reaching out and creating those connections and fostering the communication, because we can't do it alone. The attorneys can't do it alone. The judges can't do it alone. The mental health professionals can't do it alone. So continuing that dialogue and that communication that's begun, I call everyone to action. Everyone can help. And even the smallest ways are going to make lifelong positive impacts for Florida's families.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.